Hello and welcome to another edition of XFeed. My name is The Schiller. Today's title is not necessarily good news, and I do not think that it is going to get any better. To be totally honest, I have kind of a funny clip that we'll play here in just a second of me saying NFTs are back. And this is several months ago, and Pickle told me, yo, yeah, that's a crazy statement. And in fact, it was true. And that was actually the time to dump every single one of your NFTs. Let's get into the XFeed show. If this is your first time, we go over all the awesome and fun headlines across the space through your tweets. And one of the reasons NFTs are dead is because the utility for them was getting you merch like this. However, if you look as good as JVB does, it doesn't matter what exactly they look like. I've seen a few people that have gone and edited these in terms of like fashion and made some like really cool outfits, from like dresses to just whatever. And yeah, just shout out to JVB for looking so friggin' fly within this one. But here is the clip from me back in the day, recorded in November 2023. Hello, how are you? How's your day going? Mine's fantastic. Thanks for asking. We're gonna have a little bit of a quick chit chat here. If you're streaming on X, flipping through that timeline, pause for a second. Let's have a thought. A lot of people I know, we are at the point of them saying, I am going to miss the crypto rally. And and everybody in NFTs absolutely did. That's what everybody's saying. There's people that are in different NFT projects right now that the last straw is being broken. If you've ever been to a restaurant, they have the paper straws. A lot of people really don't like when the straw gets soggy. But I think it's just time. Listen, it's time of the NFTs. The Joe Rogan thing, that was a plant. We can argue that however much you want, but there's no way that gets brought up if that is not a plant. Second of all, Calio here, okay? They stream, talk about crypto. NFT market is so dead right now, it's not even funny. Zero people are talking about it. Most of the influencers have moved on to meme coins. I rarely am seeing any new mints announced on the feed. Probably means it's a really good. And what's funny is within this, what's going on, Pickle? Within this, you can see the video of me. I think I might have changed the title of this, but talking about AFA All-Stars, they're still exactly the same price that they were many moons ago. Like, we're talking like 4+ months ago, exact same pricing. NFTs haven't budged at all. Am I watching the Masters? No, but I hope you're enjoying it. Probably means it's a really good time to buy. Zero people. You're just not following anyone talking about them. All right. Well, anyway, there's the clip. But anyway, so it's funny because I think, Pickle, you were the one that actually said NFTs are back is a hell of a take. And that was incredibly wrong, right? Like that is dead wrong. So whenever I talk about things on here, know that the track record is sussed. However, let me match this as well. Calling it right now, the day the Coinbase NFT marketplace launches will be the biggest day ever in the history of NFTs. We will be in an immediate mass influx from high-friction, multi-level reality bank accounts, liquidity flows like water, the roaring river of an unhinged NFT marketplace beats all. And that was dead wrong too. Coinbase NFT marketplace completely flopped, huge L, but now everybody's saying Base is going to be the next biggest thing within crypto. Are they right or are they wrong? Everyone keeps saying the ETH NFT ecosystem is over diluted, and we're saying it's dead. But Camel is saying, I disagree. I think the entire Web3 ecosystem is over diluted. There's not much new money flowing into Web3 products because a lot of things haven't produced anything. Most of the sales have been horrific, etc. That being said, we see tons of new products every day. The loudest voices are saying the future of Web3 tech, ordinals, BRC20, Runes, ETH NFT, shitcoins, Solana, AVAX, Ronin Base, various SocialFi apps, DeFi protocols, and so many more. Everybody is pushing a specific narrative, and so you either kind of follow other people or you come up with your own idea. But back to Campbell's point here, what happened to the other futures of Web3 tech? I see at least 5 different ones getting shoved down my throat every day. Where is this liquidity coming from? Primarily the same people that have been Web3 for the last 4 years or so. I would say, like, for the big part within ordinals, it definitely feels like everybody that's high on that right now was everybody that was preaching ETH NFTs before. Obviously, narratives shift and whatnot, but it is kind of interesting. So as a builder, it is much harder to stand out because not only are you competing inside your niche, you're competing to get your niche the attention in the first place. But anyway, it says ETH NFTs aren't going anywhere and Web3 gaming isn't going anywhere. Again, I mean, taking the chain thing out of it, because we're literally seeing collections that are having a resurrection by just launching another collection on another chain. Why that makes sense, I have no idea. But I agree that gaming and everything else, like, it's all going to be based off the IP and what people are wanting to do. And that's why it's crazy to me where we see not as much intake on some of the platforms that have had those massive IPs that are part of it. Yo, what's up, Kid Arcade? NFTs will go as far as Pixel Vault goes. Keck. Well, honestly, we'll get into some more topics towards the end of this, but I've been like slowly trying to move my NFT bag into just tokens, because I'm like, okay, BTC having, nobody wants the NFTs to begin with. Is there any kind of actual mechanism for you to want to hold that NFT? And for 99%, well, 99.5% of them, there's no reason to hold it other than it's a status symbol, which we'll get into because some people from Clone X have been having a tough time lately. Breaking as of yesterday, Coinbase has integrated Apple Pay for Bitcoin and crypto purchases in the UK. So the other week we're talking about how all of this stuff is going to zero in the UK. There's all these regulation concerns, amount of money you can put in and everything. And then they're saying that Apple Pay is there for Bitcoin and crypto purchases. Powell World announced Arena PvP mode coming this summer. Not NFT related, but will be interesting to see if we have a game that challenges kind of what Powell World is, as we saw with Parallel and the Hearthstone kind of blow up that we had. When are we going to have games that, you know, aren't like the TCG genre, but they're this other one that ends up competing for the mainstream genre? And that, imagine seeing the Powell World community going up against some of the NFT communities. Sheesh. They put up the wild card series wins from 2020, 2012, and 2023. Unless that's 13, but I think that's 2013. They put the wild card series win as a banner. That's crazy. That's unbelievable. When I tell you things, you should listen. Coming from Richard Hart, who does Hex and Pulse Chain, the SEC is planning to sue Uniswap. Now, if you haven't seen, that was the big news story of the day yesterday. SEC going after Uniswap, which again, it's a protocol. The team can't alter anything. It's already out there, but I guess they're trying to make a notice of it, I guess. Just received a Wells notice. A Wells notice is a letter that the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, sends to people or firms at the conclusion of an SEC investigation that states the SEC is planning to bring an enforcement action against them. The most recent case that just became ripe is the case of SEC versus Richard Hart, which include claims about Uniswap. If you want to fight back, it's a great place to file a substantive amicus brief. I have no idea what the hell that means. But either way, this is getting more and more attention. We still have the bad things going around within crypto. The SEC, the concern about US as a whole, shall be very interesting to continue to watch this unfold. More on the SEC and one of your favorite collections that used to be all in on coming up next. Just in, Fed Chairman Jerome Powell was allegedly part of a sting operation by an investigative group. The hidden footage is expected to be released in an hour. So that comes out, and I'm like, damn, that is a pretty bold statement. And then it gets community noted saying that is not true and confirmed by the original poster to be nothing. And then there's the video that comes out, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? Breaking. Inside the Federal Reserve, hidden cameras capture principal economist, Federal Reserve, talking about Jerome Powell's legacy as somebody who held the line against Trump. The influential agency responsible for maintaining the stable monetary system appears to not just be establishing interest rates, but to be setting policies for desired social outcomes. Under Powell, the Fed has changed to think about equity issues like racial issues, think about wealth inequity as part of the mandate, as part of the things we are following. So it goes on this huge thing, but there's like a 14-minute video here saying that Jerome Powell's trying to make a legacy, and this guy was just spewing. He was saying every nook and cranny thing that you could think. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. Like, it's actually an insane video. I'm not going to go over this just because we don't really cover politics stuff, and I don't feel like I can articulate any points whatsoever. But honestly, it's 14 minutes of this guy just yapping, saying Jerome Powell's trying to leave a legacy, and he's doing certain things, and he's trying to keep Trump out. And it's just, I don't know. It comes across as kind of weird, especially with all these crypto-related things. And obviously, like, Jerome Powell isn't, that guy's not looking at crypto or anything, but it's wild to think, okay, like, is there like what's going on behind the scenes of these government agencies that are deciding things? You know what I mean? Consider that the SEC is losing to Coinbase because, again, Coinbase is getting sued by the SEC too. In the lawsuit where they claim Coinbase allows the trading of unregistered securities, Coinbase is a decentralized exchange. Uniswap is a permissionless peer-to-peer code with a front end. It's people trading assets to each other with no broker or centralized party of any kind involved. What are they doing? Like, actually, what's the strategy behind this decision? Is there some psyop we're missing? It feels like an even worse defeat is almost certain, like judicial suicide. It makes no sense. I mean, I guess they have to do something. Try to show, hey, we're trying to stop this. This is your security reminder of the day. A VR MFer got hit up by somebody that looked like they worked for Doodles or was a part of it, and they got fished. Listen, I'm gonna be blunt here, and I mean this as respectable as I can. Nobody gives a shit what you're doing. Listen, if you get a DM out there from some person being like, hey, I need you to test this game, I want you to do this, I think you're the person for the job. Have you gone out there? Are you looking for that? Is this a run of the blue? Has there been any like kind of slow buildup? Have you gotten reference from somebody? Like, please, for the love of everything, think before you click on things. Holy sheesh. All right, so the other day, we keep having Epic Game Stores. Dota on the timeline reminded me about the Forgotten Rooniverse game. That is another blockchain game that is going on Epic Game Store. So we're seeing more and more collections out there. Really cool piece here. If you saw the solar eclipse or if you didn't, this is a gnarly photo of it. So remember, Legend, thank you for posting this. But damn, that solar eclipse do be wild. I'll personally be way more excited about meme coins when there's more of a human element with identifiable creators, and it doesn't just feel like I'm buying semi-funny, misspelled memes off a factory line that makes thousands of coins per day. So I agree with this, and it makes me kind of think for identifiable creators. Remember when we had the arguments of doxed versus undoxed in NFT projects and what you were going to buy, et cetera, et cetera? It feels like for the most part, the newer collections that are NFTs are doxed, but obviously that's not the case for meme coins. It makes sense that it started this way before we normalized launching meme coins, but I think it's just a funny transition stage, and once real creators step in, people will just prefer that, like with NFTs. True. However, I feel like, do you want to be known as the person that launched a meme coin and has a bajillion dollars? I don't know, maybe. Okay. How do I politely tell you that the traditional games are doing exactly what the blockchain games are doing, but in a way that benefits only the studios? Okay. So here's the latest from Call of Duty. Free in-game content, the Gold Cheetah. Maximize your loadout and spend $100 plus site-wide to unlock the Gold Cheetah weapon camo. Oh, okay, so for a cool little skin in the game, we have to pay a lot of money. Well, that's great. Can you trade it afterwards? No. Oh, okay. So I'm just going to spend $100 and I'll get this exclusive thing that'll be cool for a singular game for a singular season, and then it's done. I don't know. This blockchain thing sounds kind of cool. All right, Fibaka here. We had him on the stream, and it was a really good interview a while back. If you're wanting to check that, go to the YouTube and scroll the videos. And Phil does a video, live stream about Yuga quite often. And I've noticed this tune of like the morale going like straight downhill. Love talking with the homies each week on Board TV. Today felt bad and sad. Yuga has a huge task in front of them to ensure Legends of the Mara and all games moving forward are truly fun. Make holding these items make sense. We needed a white paper last month. Feels daunting. I think we are still massively overblown on the cost that people were paying for NFTs. Another 50% correction and we might be cooking with gas. And the reason why I'm saying that is because, like as you guys know, like I've pretty much like exclusively been holding like the Futureverse NFTs and been following that. And I'm like, none of this stuff's catching a bid. You literally get paid to hold these things and nobody's interested in them whatsoever. Right. And then we look at these other collections and sure, they have like a excitement on the original mint day. And then it all comes kind of falling back down. Persona, again, it was at like 0.32 the other day. It's at like 0.25 right now. I don't have anything negative to say about these collections. I'm just saying in terms of people saying, oh, the opportunity cost, because we have meme coins, everything else, half the NFTs haven't showed, hey, like, you know, here's all these extra things. And I'm not talking about like I feel like Futureverse has shown a lot, but you know, for these other games, like where Phil here is talking about Yuga and Legends of the Mara, like it's like I can show you guys the game right now. Hold on, let me just bring it up because I feel like people don't really understand what this is. So for the codas that people were spending like 20 plus ETH for, they were just a collection, right? And people were like, okay, we're gonna be able to use this within the other side. We're gonna be able to use this within the Legends of the Mara game itself. They had the posters of all the other collections that were going out and being a part of what was going on. And it just felt like they were going to get the adoption from that and those other collections. And it's not really felt like that's been the case. Shara from Futureverse has Cryptoys in her profile. Do you know anything about Cryptoys? She has Cryptoys in her profile. What? I don't remember her having that before. But if that is the case, that is very, very interesting. Let's go check that out right quick. I am loading up the other thing. I don't see in her her portfolio. I thought you meant Dude, I'm going on the profile here and I'm like, where the hell does it say Cryptoys? But there was something with ASM before with Cryptoys. I have one of the Cryptoys classics actually, and they have like a fair amount of IP. Mattel, obviously Barbie, I think Hot Wheels are within there. And so when we talk about these large scale IPs, I wonder if that's something to do with it. But okay, so let me show you guys what Legends of the Mara looks like. Okay, so this is again the Yuga game that you can use a coda. They have the other side land for, etc., etc. So they have these Kodamaras, and this one is a farmer, so it yields these fragments, right? And the biogenic swamp's already depleted, and that's all the BAYC land, where you can have these fighters that are fighting the Shattered. So that's like passively accruing these fragments, which I don't know if we really know what they are for. But then for the game itself, if you give me a momentary, while this loads, it usually gets up to about 70% and then stalls the hell out. But yeah, she's been doing a lot with Cool Cats too. I uploaded a video of her talking about Cloncast and the Macy's Day Parade. But so this is Legends of the Mara. And I mean, like, this is like legitimately it. So you pop out here every 4 hours, you can click and it makes the attack speed go up by like 17%, and you kill the Shattered. And then you can see here on the top, or sorry, you can't see, but over on the top right corner, which is that way, there's a little timer, and it says 25 days left within there. And so people that have a bunch of codas, right? Because you can line up a whole bunch of codas, and this will go fast. And the more chests you get within a season, you know, the rarer it is, and it like cut off quick. So like there was, I think, like a week or two, and so people could get like a super rare chest, and then it's another one. Let me just move this over here. And you can see, so novice chest, intermediate chest, master chest. And so these are all expired. And so I'm still working on the friggin' novice chest. But the idea is that people are just getting more NFTs, right? But we don't know what the NFTs are for. There's these ship parts people had to spend ETH to claim for, and it costs more to claim the different parts than what they're selling on secondary, because nobody has any idea what's going on with this, right? And I'm not trying to trash talk at all. I'm just saying this is arguably what people perceive as the top company in the space has produced. And I think that there is very much a chance that they can turn things around. Obviously, Dookie Dash got a lot of following, made some huge hoopla, and Legends of the Mara sounds kind of cool, but it's more of like a passive staking game, I guess. Like, I don't know, Pickle, what you guys would call that exactly. But yeah, it's like Atari with better graphics. So this is wild. Mintage, if you guys haven't seen, this is a collection that it did the doodle jackets. It's gotten a few different things. Apparently it's like partnered with Futureverse, but they announced a new partner in Christie's Inc., like the auction house. So Mintage, who does vintage clothing, is now partnered with Christie's. What the hell is going on?
Christie's Ventures has now reached 10 investments since its launch back in July of 2022 by adding 2 new companies to its portfolio, Conserve and Mintage. Talk about NFC chips in your vintage collection.
Yeah.
Why, Nick? What does it bring?
Well, vintage is an incredible category. It's something that my world expanded when I learned about it, whether it's the provenance of an item, the rarity, or the traits. I've been a collector of vintage. My partner, Sean Witherspoon, is very well known as a designer, someone who works with vintage. So when he and I connected with our third partner, Brendan Russo from Adidas, we saw this world where people wanted to know more about these vintage items. Vintage is, in 2024, is a $250 billion addressable market.
So when Gordon Goner, the founder of BYC, was sweeping those NFTs randomly, he bought one of these mintage passes. I bought a few of them the other day. They're like $50-$60 because they've really not done anything for the NFT holders. Just throwing that one out there. But I'm like, okay, like I can see the idea behind it. But this is one of the things that Gordon bought way back a couple months ago.
Market 10% of retail right now is secondhand. Kids right now, they want to wear it, they want to flex it, and they want to learn more about it. And we want to add a chip to it where you tap it and you can learn all about it.
But also, you're on the intersection of Web3 as well. I mean, you've got such an interesting career background and history, having been in law, having set up sort of film festivals, having worked very closely and still do with Snoop, for example, who is big in the NFT space.
Yeah.
Snoop
Why
Dogg,
play
geez.
NFC chips rather than more broadly Web3?
Well, we really started in Web3. We started by thinking about how could these physical items manifest themselves in the digital world. And we did that through thinking about, designers working to design digital NFTs as clothing. How could they work with games like Call of Duty or GTA? So that's where we started. And the more we explored digital, we realized that attaching digital to physical is one of the beautiful things that blockchain offers. So this has just opened up a whole world for us to explore.
And therein lies the underlying technology, the power of it,
Yep.
Bang. But we're now back in a bit of a hype cycle when it comes to crypto, or certainly in a hype cycle when it comes to AI. How do you see the wood for the trees? Where are the good investments?
Yeah, I think that's the million-dollar question, right? No pun intended. We look at it from 2 parameters. Of course, when we started ventures, we had a dual mandate. One was potential for returns and looking at where the traditional venture play would look like. But we also try to look at investments we make as potential avenues of bringing new capabilities to Christie's. Can we bring new technologies to Christie's? Similar to what our previous guest was talking about with respect to Toyota. But in our case, out of the 10 investments, 5 of them we've actively used and deployed inside Christie's, which is a very different way of operating. We can actually test these technologies, bring them.
Okay, so basically he's saying that they got it because of the chips, and so they can NFT-fy things that happen within Christie's. Like, is that the notion? Because what this guy's like, okay, so Mintage sells reused clothes, or sorry, vintage clothes that have chips to integrate AI, or sorry, like the blockchain aspect to them. And so this guy's saying that, hey, that we want things that we can actually use with Christie's, and this would just add an extra aspect of authentication. Or do they expect to have Mintage doing their own clothing line that's for Christie's? Like, I don't know. I'm asking you, what do you guys think is the reason for them doing that? Because that's an interesting investment to go after vintage clothing resellers and makers. One of the worst launches I have ever seen. This okay? We'll see. First, the public sale for Lucky Rolls was heavily botted, sold out in 30 seconds. SocialFi is dead. Nobody can do it like Portal did. Price went from $1.50 to 40 cents in mere minutes. So, shill, what the hell's going on? I don't know. A whole bunch of people were spamming this all over the timeline, trying to get a free airdrop, and I guess that it was not worth the time and effort. Obviously, people just destroying their social reputation, but it doesn't matter. Who cares? It's 2024. You do you, baby. 1 month later, turns out spamming block on your timeline was indeed worthless. Stop participating in this type of stuff. Portal was a one-hit wonder. Accept that and move on. And see, it's funny because if you don't know what Portal was it was the same thing where people just basically shilled on their timeline being like, hey, yo, yeah, Portal. And yeah, they made a whole bunch of money off of it, but one-hit wonder. That's it. There's nothing more. Y'all Buffalo Space. What's going on, bro? And yeah, I don't know. It's funny, though, because if you can find that one that does well, Asia is coming to the Bitcoin party, says Bitcoin Archive. Hong Kong approving a Bitcoin ETF. That's interesting. South Korea will approve Bitcoin ETFs, and Chinese fund managers launching Bitcoin ETFs. I thought most of the world already had something similar to this, or maybe they're just like reacting to what's going on in the US. Obviously, we haven't seen anything with Ether yet, but very, very bullish if we're getting all these people throwing capital into the crypto space. NBA Top Shot is back. Why is there a sudden influx of random players mentioning NBA Top Shot again? I'm starting to be suspicious here. Okay, Miles Turner, this is an NBA Top Shop moment if I've ever seen it. Okay, so why is every little capitalized, and why did they spell shot as shop? These people can't be helped. Hey, that's just tough. Now, speaking of Top Shot, SEC investigated NBA Top Shot developer Dapper Labs decided to close case in September. Why didn't we hear anything? I mean, what's going on with Yuga Labs and the other side sale, right? So we had Top Shot getting investigated, and I guess apparently that ended, as we just found out today, 6:04 a.m. And what's going on with the Yuga stuff? We've heard absolutely nothing on that case, but goes to show again, another thing from the SEC going into that didn't end up amounting to anything. Exclusive R2 Ditto was the buyer of the Alien Punk 7804 for $16.4 million last month. The anonymous collector first made waves in February by buying an autoglyph set for $14.5 million. In their first ever interview, we discussed the sale and what's next for the collection. So at NFT Now, if you're wanting to see that full breakdown. But damn, these people apparently spending $30 million on 2 NFTs. What the hell? It's time to tell you, we're working on something big. Looks rare. The NFT marketplaces, things are coming back. Are they? Or is it strictly Jover? Now, I'm seeing different things on my timeline of a lot of people saying, oh, CloneX is dead. This is awful. And I'm looking at these things and I'm like, they really went for like some of the craziest looks ever for Takashi Murakami. And some of like the Grail collections still are going for like a lot. I maybe one day I will get one of the octopus hats. I think they're kind of cool, right? Like I think the puffer jacket is cool too. And this isn't like the actual collection for anybody that's newer. Like this is what like the avatars look like. But again, it's like it's kind of strange. What the hell is the tongue? They went for like a very like weird look where some of the stuff looks insanely cool, and then some of it looks like just kind of daunting and strange. Why? I have no freaking idea. But going back to the title of this, where we're talking about how NFTs are dead and crypto's, you know, going to move. We looked at the video before and, so we were wrong on thinking NFTs are back. And so if I say NFTs are back now, again, probably going to be wrong. It seems like we're only just finding that new mints are doing well. We are still waiting to see some of the big collections having their launches, like Doodles, for example. It feels like Project Gray's been really hyped up. The NFT NYC event happened, and it felt like I didn't really see like as much on my timeline as I thought, in terms of like announcements, excitement around that, et cetera, et cetera. And I mean, I guess kind of for any collection, I was kind of surprised that NFT NYC didn't have bigger announcements that were attached to it whatsoever. But if we go over and we look at the marketplace here right quick, we can see that 4 different collections here. Bored Apes are below 12 ETH. Pudgy Penguins and Bored Apes basically about the same price here. Let me make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see. Mutant Apes below 2 ETH. Milady all the way up to 5 ETH. Holy geez. Izuki at 4.12. Captains 3.45. Little Pudgies at an ETH. Mochaverse at 4 ETH again. There's supposed to be a token coming. So do we see Mochaverse NFTs go from 4 ETH to like literally nothing? I have no idea. That's what happened with Grapes. Meebits are the same price as a Fluff right now if you're bullish on Yuga. That's an interesting breakdown between the two. DeGod's 1.41. And yeah, I don't really. Oh, geez. Okay, so I said Persona was at 0.25. It's down 30% in a few days. Well, if you go to the crypto charts, most stuff is, probably not down as bad as that. So the question really is, what the hell's going on with NFTs? Is it just Grail season? I've always thought the Grails end up going first, and then it's the market as a whole. But before, we didn't have as much to pick from, right? Like if you were to go out there and say, I have crypto and money within the blockchain space, and I'm wanting to spend it on something, right? The options now compared to like a year ago is insane. The amount of extra research, figuring things out, and 90% of the times the NFTs still don't offer anything immediately. It's something that's coming down the road and it's speculative, or it's some kind of a yield, right? Distress Pickle NFT next cycle will be relaunches and revamps of relaunches and revamps. Truly. Yo, New Hype, what's going on? Will Futureverse be at XRP Las Vegas 2024? Wonder what after party they could throw for the party bear holders. So they said this year, I don't think that, or maybe it was last year. It's this year or last year. Maybe it's this year. That they weren't going to hold any like IRL events that are bigger that way. And that's another thing, right? And so when you're talking about party bears, people have the association with music and all these other things. And then, these teams have to pivot. And we could never see anything to revolve around music again with party bears. And it's like, oh, okay, well, you have the token yield and everything else, right? And so that's the other tough part is like we're buying into things and there could be massive pivots, massive changes for things. And that's where it's like, okay, do we just go one of the tokens and say hallelujah? That's it for this edition of XFeed. Mr. New Type, I appreciate you coming in here. I think this is your first time I've seen you. Distress Pickle, Buffalo Space, Kid Arcade, you're insane. Trader, Pops, what's going on, brother? Bro, did you get any Eternal Prisms? I wasn't so lucky. I got one. Son of a gun, I got one. I saw a few people that had like less than 50 that got multiple, and that is crazy. Now, final thing that you just made me remind myself of, if you've seen the material paper, reread it and like genuinely think about it. How long is it going to take? What's the things that it mentions are going to get used? And make your decision, because that's something that like I'm kind of debating moving some of my Third Kingdom land, because I was, I've been wrong about a lot of things, but I kind of figured that the Third Kingdom land was going to get a huge bump, because I was seeing people putting like insane amounts into the prisms. And I'm like, okay, guys, like everybody has a ton of prisms, but not everybody has like the best land or better land. And so I picked up a few plots, and all of those things did pretty well. And that aged rather quick in like less than a week. So maybe NFTs aren't dead. It's just the one on ETH. But yeah, okay, that's it. Listen, I keep rambling. Yes. I just discovered Futureverse last week. Crazy, I'm just finding out about this project now. I mean, I think a lot of people are finding about like any collection that's doing something right. Like we're seeing Pixels and Ronin getting a ton of attention. We're starting to see the Futureverse pick up. We're starting to see the runes and everything to do with ordinals reigniting in a big way. Obviously, meme coins are running. There's just so much in the space, from saturation, et cetera, et cetera. But I really appreciate you coming through. New Hype and Trader Pops saying something at the end there, and everybody else that's silent viewing, leaving comments after. Appreciate the hell out of you guys. That's going to be it for this episode. We're going to be back tomorrow. I'm debating doing like a bit on Metaverse Land, because I did one a while ago. But if you check my latest tweet, it's not this stream. Let me know if there's any Metaverse Land out there that I haven't had listed, and maybe tomorrow we'll go over the price, opportunities, and what people are saying all their Metaverse Land does, and we'll have a good time. So yeah, enjoy your week, and I will see you tomorrow. I guess enjoy the day.